What happens when the dream of African unity collides with unemployment, poverty, political frustration, and public anger? And what happens when immigrants become the convenient scapegoats for problems that governments have failed to solve? Tonight on Frankly Speaking, we travel to South Africa, a nation celebrated for defeating apartheid, a nation admired for producing Nelson Mandela, Madiba, a nation regarded as one of Africa's strongest economies. Yet today it finds itself once again at the center of a controversy that has shaken the entire continent. Foreign-owned shops attacked, African migrants hunted, citizens evacuated, governments alarmed, diplomatic tensions rising. And now President Cyril Ramaphosa says enough is enough. But is this merely another political speech, or is South Africa finally ready to confront a problem that has haunted it for decades? Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts because tonight we are going beyond the headlines. This is Frankly Speaking, where truth gets a voice and opinions breathe. I'm Odiawa AI. For many Africans, South Africa represents opportunity. It's one of Africa's most industrialized economies. Its cities attract workers, traders, entrepreneurs, professionals from across the continent, from Nigeria, Ghana, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Mozambique, Ethiopia, Somalia, and many more. For years, thousands have traveled there seeking better opportunities, but beneath the image of economic strength lies a painful reality. South Africa suffers from one of the highest unemployment rates in the world. Millions of young people cannot find work. Many communities remain trapped in poverty decades after apartheid ended. Crime remains a major concern. Economic inequality is staggering, and when economic frustration rises, someone is often blamed. Increasingly, the blame has fallen on immigrants. This is where our story begins. President Cyril Ramaphosa has now publicly vowed to crack down on groups responsible for xenophobic violence. His message was clear: the government will not tolerate lawlessness. The government will not permit vigilante groups to determine who belongs in South Africa. The government will not allow citizens to stop people in the streets and demand identification documents. Think about that for a moment. The president has reached a point where he must remind citizens that immigration enforcement is the responsibility of the state, not angry mobs, not self-appointed street inspectors, not political agitators. That alone reveals how serious the situation has become. Ramaphosa says certain groups are exploiting legitimate concerns about immigration, and frankly speaking, he may be absolutely right, because throughout history, economic anxiety has often been weaponized. When people are angry, politicians seek targets. When jobs disappear, someone gets blamed. When crime rises, someone becomes the villain, and immigrants are often easiest targets. One of the saddest aspects of this crisis is the symbolism. South Africa was once the beneficiary of African solidarity. When apartheid ruled, when black South Africans were oppressed, when Nelson Mandela was in prison, African countries stood together. Nigeria contributed resources. Ghana offered support. Many African states campaigned internationally against apartheid. The continent rallied behind South Africa. Today, many Africans ask a painful question: has South Africa forgotten? Many Nigerians remember previous attacks. Many Ghanaians remember previous attacks. Many Zimbabweans remember previous attacks. And every time xenophobic violence erupts, old wounds reopen. The dream of African brotherhood suffers another blow. Now let us address the uncomfortable question: why are immigrants becoming targets? The answer is complex. Many South Africans believe foreign nationals are taking their jobs. Others believe migrants contribute to crime. Some argue undocumented migration strain public services. These concerns cannot simply be dismissed. Every country has the right to regulate immigration. Every nation has the right to secure its borders. Every government has the responsibility to know who enters and who remains within its territory. But there is a critical distinction. There is a difference between enforcing immigration laws and attacking human beings. There is a difference between policy and violence, and there is a difference between border control and xenophobia. This distinction matters because once violence becomes acceptable, society enters a dangerous territory. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about politics, because politics sits at the heart of this crisis. South Africa's ruling establishment faces enormous pressure. Unemployment remains stubbornly high, economic growth has been slow, power shortages have plagued the economy, citizens are demanding answers, and when government struggles to deliver solutions, public frustration seeks an outlet. History teaches us something important: economic hardship creates a fertile ground. The formula is familiar: find a group, blame the group, promise to remove the group, claim everything will improve, but reality is rarely that simple. If every immigrant disappears tomorrow, would corruption disappear? Would power shortages disappear? Will unemployment vanish overnight? Will poverty evaporate? Of course, definitely not. The challenges run much deeper. Behind every statistic is a human story. A trader whose shop was destroyed, a mother forced to flee, a worker afraid to leave home, a student wondering if tomorrow will be safe. When Mozambique reports that 5 of its citizens have been killed, those are not merely numbers, those are families, dreams, lives, human beings, and that is why governments are now repatriating some citizens: Ghana, Nigeria, Malawi, Mozambique, all taking steps to protect their nationals. Imagine the diplomatic implication: African countries evacuating citizens from another African country. One of the most significant developments is Ghana's decision to petition the African Union. This raises the stakes dramatically because the issue is no longer merely domestic, it is becoming continental. Ghana is reportedly compiling records of assets lost during the attacks. Why? Potential future litigations, compensation claims, legal accountability. This is a remarkable development. It signals that some governments may no longer be satisfied with expressions of concern. They may seek concrete consequences, and that introduces a new dimension: diplomatic pressure, legal pressure, continental pressure. Perhaps the deepest question is philosophical. What does Pan-Africanism mean today? African leaders often speak about African integration, free movement, continental trade, African unity, the African Continental Free Trade Area, shared prosperity, shared destiny. But what happens when ordinary Africans feel unwelcome in fellow African countries? That contradiction cannot be ignored, because integration is not merely about treaties, it's about people, it's about trust, it's about belonging, and every xenophobic attack damages that trust. To this credit, President Cyril Ramaphosa has proposed several measures: stronger immigration enforcement, legal reforms, dedicated immigration courts, enhanced identity systems, biometric digital IDs, regional cooperation, addressing root causes of migration. These are serious policy proposals, and frankly speaking, they deserve consideration because effective immigration management benefits everyone. Citizens benefit, legal migrants benefit, governments benefit, businesses benefit. The challenge will be implementation. South Africans have heard promises before. Now they will want results. For Nigerians watching tonight, these are lessons here. First, economic hardship creates social tension. Secondly, poor governance eventually produces public anger. Thirdly, when institutions fail, societies become vulnerable to division. Nigeria must avoid similar traps. We must address unemployment, we must strengthen institutions, we must expand opportunities, because frustrated populations become susceptible to dangerous narratives. That lesson applies across Africa, not only South Africa. The bigger question is this: can Africa achieve unity while millions remain trapped in poverty? Can regional integration succeed without economic inclusion? Can Pan-Africanism survive if ordinary people believe outsiders threaten their livelihoods? These are difficult questions, but they must be asked, because slogans alone cannot solve economic plan. Only development can. Only jobs, opportunities, and effective governance can actually solve all this. Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa stands at a crossroad. One path leads towards division, the other towards reform. One path leads towards scapegoating, the other towards solution. One path blames foreigners, the other addresses structural problems. President Cyril Ramaphosa has now publicly declared his choice. The real question is whether the state possesses the political will and institutional capacity to turn words into action. Because speeches are easy, enforcement is difficult. Promises are easy, results are difficult. And Africans across the continent will be watching closely. The true test of the nation is not how it treats the powerful, it's how it treats the vulnerable. The true measure of leadership is not the speech delivered after a crisis, it's the action taken before the next one begins. And the true promise of Africa will not be fulfilled by blaming one another, it will be fulfilled by building economies that create opportunity for all. South Africa's xenophobia crisis is more than a South African story. It's an African warning, a warning about unemployment, inequality, political frustration, and what happens when hope disappears. The challenge before South Africa is enormous, but the challenge before Africa is even greater. Can we build a continent where opportunity defeats resentment, where cooperation defeats division, where unity defeats hatred? That remains the defining question of our generation. South Africa's xenophobia crisis is more than a South African story, and this has been Frankly Speaking, where truth gets a voice and opinions breathe. I'm Odiawa AI.